Cancer Rising, Cancer Sun, Moon, and Venus signs. Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. My name's Annie, and we're going to read your tarot cards. I'm going to throw in a little bit of astrology, too, as I've been doing. As always, general messages here on YouTube, so that means not everything I say will resonate with every single one of you out there. That's fine. That's normal. Only take away what resonates, what speaks to you, motivates you, inspires you. Release the rest. Assume it's going out to someone else, or maybe it will make sense in the future. You're accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. Let's do it, Cancer. You got cards popping. What's popping out here? The Eight of Swords. Oh, we're gonna help you with that. In fact, I'm gonna reshuffle it in and see if it comes out again. This is all up in your head. I feel like you have important decisions to make and you're kind of like not knowing which one to tackle first. So best advice for that, if you resonate, is take it a piece at a time. Rather than trying to do 8 things at once, break it down. What is logical? What do you have the most control over now? If you can tackle that, great. If you are worried about not having control over everything, maybe you don't. Maybe that's part of the divine plan. You know, maybe it's about releasing control and sort of stepping through fear is very much associated with the Eight of Swords. All right, here we go, Cancer. Cancer. You have some great cards here, Cancer. Yeah, oh my gosh, it gets better the more we go around here. So you have some releases. You have a lot of 9s and 10s. So coming to culminations or completions of cycles. This is both negative and positive, though, and maybe it's neutral, right? Some things are ending, and that means some new things are beginning. All right, so five of Wands is bottom of your deck, a little contemplation. I don't see the Eight of Swords coming out, so maybe that was just a random message. So let's start with the Ten of Cups that came out. That's sort of one of my favorite cards and such a cute depiction. It is coming up in your house of long distance travel as well as mental exploration. I think part of why it's coming up with Ten of Cups for a lot of you, planet Jupiter will be transiting that house in the coming week or so. I think it comes in on the 13th. I should have looked this up ahead of time. Jupiter, the 13th, goes into Pisces. So again, this is in whole sign astrology, which it's great for general readings, but it's not uber specific to every single one of you. Jupiter is a very lighthearted, lucky, buoyant, fun energy. So you, in theory, may have a very fun, positive outlook on new concepts, new ideas. You may be delving into new systems of religion or language or philosophies, things of that sort. Some of you, this will literally be traveling to go see that family, go see that best friend of yours. There's a very lighthearted, positive nature, and I think this is saying the culmination of feeling isolated or alone. A lot of you, you're going to expand now and be able to connect and forge those relationships that maybe got put on the back burner, or you just simply Eight of Swords, right? You weren't able to do that earlier in the year or earlier last year. So that's great. Again, Jupiter making that transit eventually is going to form a nice little trine by element, meaning water, with Mars in Cancer, which is there now. Who's feeling aggravated? If you are a Cancer rising, that is going through your first house of ego, identity, and self. So just in general, you may be feeling a little bit agitated, a little bit just uncomfortable. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not going to be like that forever. As I've already discussed, Mars and Cancer can be a tricky combination. But again, if you use it to the best of your advantage, know in advance that there is a planet sitting in your house of self and identity that really wants to run the race right now. It wants to go. It wants action. It wants to see things. Maybe at some point in time there was I want this but I can't because of X, Y, and Z. Well, with Jupiter making a nice little connection, having a good conversation with Mars, it's like maybe those two aspects of your life can get on the same page. There could be a positive expansion of your identity or the way you're presenting yourself in a more public way. And I will say this isn't a bad thing, but it might be more assertive. It might be more aggressive. If typically you are a Cancer rising who's more passive or a bit of a wallflower. Not this month, you're not. But again, with a positive aspect, a trine to Jupiter, you're presenting yourself in a way that's very likable. But maybe with that, there's a little bit of fear or uncomfortability. But I think as you test the waters, there will be like, oh, this isn't that bad. In fact, this is kind of great. I just met a new person that maybe I never would have met had I been more reserved or withheld, right? So I really like that aspect for you. That's cool. Jupiter coming into your 9th house is also going to form Again, a nice aspect to that area of your life. Now, it's going to form a tricky or an aggravated relationship with anything happening in your 12th house matters. So 12th house is your house of things that are hidden away. It is your connection to God, to spirituality. It can also be your house of secrets and the past. So what's interesting is coming there, you have something coming into fruition. This world card I just like. I think it's very positive. I'm seeing a hula hoop, which I know is really silly. But again, something about Jupiter, like the idea of the hula hoop, it's like a fun kid's toy. Something is coming into fruition or to completion that I want to say it's been kind of fun. You've enjoyed the process of it, but with it coming up in your 12th house, maybe there's a need for you not to be forward with it yet. Maybe there's a need to be like hush hush or secret, because maybe while it's coming into fruition and completion, maybe it's not exactly where it needs to be in order to share it with the public or to almost birth it into the world. 12th house has a lot to do with the womb before we birth something into the world. So Jupiter is having essentially a conversation, if you will, with Mercury and Venus, which just recently moved into Gemini. So that's a big change this week. You may be having a lot more focus in that area of your life. But again, it really has a lot to do with solitude, with being alone, or again, spending time with your personal projects, your endeavors. You're spending time with your spirituality. There's a very strong connection to spirituality. Service to God, or whatever you believe in, right? And you can interchange that word. So yeah, music, art, anything that's very spiritual and intuitive, kind of Piscean-esque nature. But also for you, there's a connection to Gemini. So there could be a lot more. What's interesting is Gemini is a very social sign. So it's very interesting that that's in your house of all hidden things. So it could be that you're having secret conversations or secret business dealings. If you're planning on leaving a job, it could be that you're getting your exit strategy, but you're being very hush-hush about it, right? With Venus transiting that 12th house too, it could indicate that possibly there's a chance for romance or love. But again, maybe it hasn't been fully imagined or fully visualized yet. It could be that you're having, again, private conversations online, but nothing has really come into sort of birth, if you will, about those romantic relationships. It's also your house of the past, so it's possible that if you closed something out, and with Venus and Mercury traveling through there could be connections coming back from your past. Possibly. Eclipse season is coming up, but I'm not going to go into that yet because that will be in the later weeks. But yeah, there will be a lunar eclipse towards the end of the month in your 6th house of health and work, services that you provide, daily activities, your daily routine. So there's a culmination card of judgment sort of coming through here, which again leads to the world. These two are I love that this is coming up. It's so symbolic of the North and South node. There's something coming to a culmination. If it hasn't yet, you bet your butt it will during the eclipse season. But I think mentally you may be getting prepared for just feeling like there's a little bit of unrest or change. It's not all bad. Eclipse season is a very intense time, but I'm a firm believer it does actually make way for what is meant to be. So if we can get past our own sort of ego and sense of, oh, I know everything and blah, blah, blah. If you can sort of open yourself up, which is probably exactly what you're doing with these cards coming up in your 12th house, open yourself up to sort of divine wisdom and sort of allow it to just be poured over you, embrace what makes sense to you and just be curious about what doesn't, but don't close yourself off to anything because major transformation is coming in that area, especially during eclipse season. Judgment has to do with going back to the past, and for a lot of you, you may revisit something that you let go of, but you always thought it was meant for you, and I mean more in a spiritual, individual sense. I'm not talking about relationships so much, but choose to interpret this as you will. For a lot of you, it seems like there was something you were very passionate about, and over time you had to let go. Maybe because it felt too immature or too childish, or in a sense you felt like you outgrew it even though your heart told you differently, or there could have been a lot of societal pressure around you that, you have to let go of this, it's not time to do that. Some of you may revisit something that you were very passionate about, and I'm getting the idea of shedding of a snake skin, emerging into this new being, but the irony is this new being is actually very much connected to something you enjoyed in either in the past or in a past life. A lot of symbolism of the kind of wombs here. I can't say I have tons of pregnancy cards, but it's possible. For some of you, dancing is going to be very important. And I'm even going to say this week, something about that may be very symbolic to some of you, or more in a sense, or dancing. I heard Dancing with the Stars. That's hilarious. What I'm sort of gathering from that, though, is dancing among like the cosmos, understanding like the greater purpose, the divine plan. And again, it's not fighting with it, aggressive energy in Cancer right now. It's embracing it and using it to motivate you, empower you, and move forward with that Mars energy. Yeah. I don't think this is a good time to fight the divine plan, whatever you consider that to be, right? And I mean, obviously, because it is divine, there's a sense of it's more intuitive. It's not necessarily always logical. We can't pinpoint it down to the exact reason. Again, it's this. It's very like, well, it could be this. It's open to interpretation, right? There's a time to embrace the unknown and move forward with the information you have, but really check in with yourself, with your heart, because Cancer is being asked to take action this whole month, really. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your love life. So in your house of dating, sex, also hobbies, creativity, things of that sort, you have assessment. I have to be honest, my gut reaction to this is you've already started to sow the seeds with someone. But I think some of you, okay, this is where pregnancy could lead into it, but not for all of you, just to be honest. You've started to plant seeds with someone, but I think Cancer is more sort of like, am I really in this? Like contemplative about, well, I've already started a foundation, or I've already made this connection. You know, we've done this, we've done that. Am I in it? That's what this feels like to me. If that doesn't resonate for my Cancers who are, this would be more long-term. And in fact, you have good news coming in long-term relationships and committed partnerships. I think there's a couple messages here. If you know in your heart that it's not all there with this person, and in a reasonable sense, you know, checking in with mind, body, spirit, not just completely faltering into, it doesn't feel right, but on paper it makes sense. You have to merge it all. It all comes together here. Culmination, using all the factors, all the information we have available to us, all the tools on our table. If there's a sense of, I know it's not right. It makes sense, but it's not what I want. Good, right? Because you're not settling. You're understanding that if I tell the universe that I'm willing to settle, that's what I'm going to get. If I tell the universe, I like this and thank you, I'm appreciative, I express gratitude for all I learned from this, but I think I want to aim higher because there's something else that's very important in my long-term relationships and my goals for that. In what I look for in another person or how they treat me, right? If you're under assessment, a lot of you are going to take a leap of faith and realize, again, the idea of shedding of the skin, I'm not who I was when I first met this person. So if this person is hindering my ability to change and adapt, then I've outgrown them. There's nothing wrong with that. There's something very beautiful of coming into the recognition of that. I understand for some of you it's bittersweet because there is a connection here, but some of you feel like it's holding you back when really it needs to be pushing you forward to become this amazing person you're meant to become. A lot of you may have met this person traveling, or it might be saying that if you are kind of in between, you may meet someone in the coming months during travel or transit or something. Or in school, if you're going back to school for any reason. Others of you, if you were in a long-term committed partnership, you love them, they love you, and you are trying fertility-wise for to grow your own little seed. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't do medical readings, but a lot of you, there's very positive wish fulfillment in a long-term connection. Someone you are very likely already in contract with. Others of you, again, same message. If you're with someone for whatever you deem a reasonable amount of time, and you guys have already sort of had the discussions or wanting to start the discussions of, hey, do we want to do this like for life? Marriage contract could factor in for a lot of you. There's wish fulfillment coming up in long-term contracts. You can even choose to view that as business contracts, Cancer. I mean, Cancers tend to be very business savvy. As much as you guys may or may not struggle in relationships, typically when you set your mind to something business-oriented, you guys take off like a rocket. It's just that it's that determination factor. It's that confidence factor for a lot of you. Learning to flex that muscle, it develops and then boom. New contract, and it's like the wish fulfillment. It feels like choirs of angels singing. Not to say that won't be your story in love at all. I just, based on, some of my knowledge of astrology, love relationships, and again, this totally factors in on what's your chart too. This is more specific, but generally speaking, I would say Cancers and even Libras and even Virgos can struggle sometimes early on in relationships until you kind of learn the rules of the game. And for a lot of you guys out there, learning to respect yourself first and foremost and not always be the one giving, there needs to be a happy medium. So if you've already learned that lesson, if you're a Cancer who you've gone through it and you understand, reasons why things turn out the way they did, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it this time. I'm not going to be that person I used to be, or I'm not going to accept this, or I'm going to do this differently. Assessment. Maybe the universe is like, all right, let's do this. You're ready. I'm ready. Like, do you know what I mean? Like something with the shedding of the skin is very important for you to see this week, and that has a long-term positive impact on your relationship. Yeah, I am seeing pregnancy here or a new chapter. After some assessment, and this is not necessarily am I in this or not. For some of you, it certainly is. If you're single and casually dating, this is probably like, I like this person, but do I like them that much? If you're in a partnership and it's getting more exciting and you're more intrigued, this could be a transformation of the desire to hold on to your independence or singlehood or do things independently into, I would say, merging with the Fool. There could be a new chapter in merging families, merging bodies, creation of something new, and that feeds right into your Ten of Cups. So for some of you, this could involve major steps in a relationship. There also could be something here, if pregnancy makes sense for any of you, because the South Node is sitting in your house of health and work, it could be that by starting this family or taking on this new relationship, this new responsibility, I would say, in this relationship, it may pull you away from work. If you're pregnant, right? That's going to pull you away as you were growing and developing, right? And it's not a bad thing. It's not to say you can always return to things, right? Cancer, you rule the past, fourth home, right? That's why there's such a strong connection to the past and sentimentality and exes. Let's just put it out there, right? Cancers are very nostalgic people. But your wounds are your wisdom, right? You learn a lot from sort of exceeding or excelling in that area, but also it's yin and yang, having it be sort of the bane of your existence as well, too. So, and I'm not coming down on you. I actually love Cancers. Like, you guys know that. Like, low-key, Cancers are low-key my favorite. But anyway, I don't want to say that, though, because I really do love all the signs. But I guess I find the trajectory of Cancers fascinating, so I love to read for you guys. That's all I'm trying to say. So please don't be offended. I hope none of my words got mixed up. What else can I tell you here? Yeah, I love your long-term partnership. There's wish fulfillment coming in. Your 8th house of merging, and also your house of psychology, also kind of connected to the past and sort of the inner workings of your mind, body, spirit, especially your spirit, your soul. You have the Fool and like so lighthearted. For a house that can have very deep, dark connotations, you have like, yeah, this is beautiful. Like, that's what I mean. So something really good comes in from a merging or possibly a collaboration. That's what I mean, too. I think we started this whole reading with the ending of a cycle yields new results, and those new results are the beginning of something great. So even if there is trepidation about moving on from something that, again, it's not what's best for you, but there's part of you that wants to hold on to it, you have free will. You can do whatever you want, but no, saying goodbye or ending something, that's not the end of the story. There's more to be discovered, but I would even offer possibly elsewhere. Moving away from the idea or moving away from the project, the property, the house, the relationship. Maybe this is just a chance for you to start fresh, for you to start new. And I would argue with that, there's a lot of really beautiful energy coming through there. Yeah, you guys are going to continue to work on an idea, but I don't think you're sharing it publicly yet. You may be sharing it with a small group of friends who you're wanting them to get involved, especially on some sort of project involving money, something with thriving money, I'm hearing, or your livelihood. You may be opening up to a very small group of people to test the waters. It's funny, what is that term? Test group, or almost like when they release a film, like a test audience, like you're not putting it in theaters yet, you're showing a select few people. There's something about that, because with that, there's an assessment. There's something about fine-tuning it. You're on the right track, Cancer, but whatever it is that's come to completion individually, you do start to express it in a small way to a small group of collaborators, to team members, to employees, to, I don't know, you're rolling something out slowly, but with that, the feedback you get, it's fantastic, but it is constructive criticism. And, it's exactly what you make of it. It's not a personal attack on you, though some of you, it's going to feel like it because it was birthed from your soul. Some of you feel like you're going to be very sensitive with Mars and Cancer. So again, this is where you make the best use of it. Rather than jumping to these conclusions of, oh, well, they hate me and they're being negative because it's, spiteful and this and that and jealousy. Don't take it there. If you are opening something up to, again, helpful ideas, how can I make this better? Listen. I would offer don't necessarily react because, again, you're going to have to filter it through. That's not an attack on you. We are trying to look objectively at this thing you created to make it the best it can be. Here's where it gets cool. After this, let's get some small opinions, a few ideas. You kind of Eight of Pentacles, again, the artisan, the apprentice, the apprenticeship, you know what I'm trying to say, becoming the master of your craft with a little bit more zhuzhing, right? Going back to the drawing board and not tossing it out, fine-tuning, then it takes off. Then there's your Eight of Wands, Cancer. And with that, something about that may have to do with traveling away from the home, or, again, moving very swiftly into something about your past. More career-wise, but this is your reading, Cancer. You're showing up as much as I am. So if this makes sense in a relationship, I'm not here to tell you no. This Eight of Wands, swift, rapid action, this comes in something to do with fourth house activities, something with mom, something with your parents, something with the home, something with your roots, your ancestry, your foundation, your past. But it could also be moving away from those things. I think this has to do with like a magnetic spark or a magnetic connection when you go public with something. That's the irony, is showing up in the house of being kind of sort of private or withdrawn from society. I think there's swift, rapid action away from that. There's something about, I always look at this and it reminds me of when you're sparklers, 4th of July, you light one and you can light one off the other. So someone's got this, this magical stick, right? It's got these sparks and these flames and it's so exciting. It's very fun. It's very joyous, right? When you light one off the other and then that other person gains that sort of, that amazing energy from what you were holding in your heart, Cancer. Oh, that was adorable. That was cheesy, wasn't it? But look at that. Look how, this is one of my favorite cards in tarot. It's, I think, probably my favorite version of the Eight of Wands. I just think it's amazing, and I think this has to do with collaboration, and it may have to do with collaborating with a family member. Or, again, someone from your past. I love that, Cancer. That looks amazing. Yeah, you have a lot of cards coming up about you may run to a friend for important advice or guidance. So there's a new moon happening in Taurus this week, which is exciting. New moons are a great time for manifestation. So that's what I mean. I don't necessarily think you're starting a brand new thing. It's possible for some of you. I think you're going back to finesse or fine-tune or zhuzh, because I like that word. Whatever you've been working on in privacy or in secret, I would say it's going to continue to happen there, but eventually you're going to reach the point of launch. Whatever that is. Some of you are going to have to move to a job or move away from a job. Coming up in your 10th house, you have 10 of Wands. Typically, 10 of Wands is, we have a lot to let go of here. It's been piling up, and 10 of Wands typically has a burden or a connotation of being very burdensome. It could just be the process of moving to this job is very burdensome, or having to uphold the reputation of a job or a company that you don't believe in. That makes so much sense for my Cancer risings. Aries rules your 10th house, so it's almost like the face. Aries, the ram, the head, the face of the company. If you've been having to do almost like, I don't know, like HR or something where it's like you're making them look good and you don't believe in what you're doing, a lot of you are going to withdraw because you can't take the weight of that anymore. Does that make sense to any of you out there? That felt really important. Others of you, maybe you're moving just away from a job that you didn't like. Maybe there's a lot more energy and action in your 4th house activity that's pulling you away from public life. again, the whole idea of pregnancy and metaphor, there's much more of a focus in the house and the home and the family. And it seems to be very beautiful and fun. But with that, because those two are opposing, 4th and 10th house, maybe you have to pull away from work or the public life or something about that. That's for some of you, not all of you, certainly. Others of you, this could indicate you have a beautiful new opportunity of collaboration that comes in. But with that, are you ready to pack up and leave? Are you ready to venture out into the unknown? It doesn't mean it's bad, right? It's what you make of it entirely. But I can't not read into the visual depiction of this card. This looks like travel. And we know a lot of the Cancers have a beautiful travel opportunity coming in. Some of you know exactly what this is. Some of you, your plane ticket already is booked. You're like, oh, I know what that is. I can't wait. That, I don't know. I know this is a very specific. You may go on some travel opportunity and fall in love with, I would even say with where you are at environmentally, you may decide to move there. Or again, if this is a romantic connection, which, you know, if you want it manifested, you may end up meeting someone at a distance being like, I kind of want to move in with them. I would say with that, it doesn't all have to be this, oh, this is a pain in the ass, because clearly you're excited to do something. Others of you, this could be the burden of having to leave behind what is familiar, or again, whatever this is. I would say there's a balance. There's something you're releasing by embracing this newfound happiness. And it's not to say it's one extreme or the other. I don't always mean to contradict myself, but I feel like when you guys are watching this, I need to make it clear. It's not black and white. It's tarot. It's areas of gray. It's shades of gray, right? That's 50 shades of gray, Cancer. That's how it goes in tarot. So again, I recognize that if you're new to my channel, it seems like there's a lot of contradiction. Like, it could be this, but no, it could also be that. Well, yeah, it depends how it's going to manifest for you, but these are highlights and ideas of what could come into fruition in the next few weeks, right? The tarot I'm reading more on a weekly basis. The planet transit, those are much bigger, right? Mars is going to be in Cancer till the end of the month. Venus and Mercury's going to be in Gemini for quite a while because it's going to go retrograde at the end of the month. The end of this month into June is going to be crazy cuckoo bananas, but this week your tarot cards look very positive with a lot of contemplation about major next steps. That's sort of the theme I see coming through here. Cancer baby, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to leave you there. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next Monday for more tarot. Bye, guys. What's up, guys? Super excited to announce the winners of the free tarot giveaway. Congratulations to Michelle, Kristen, Jennifer, and Joe. Thank you guys for entering the contest. I'm already in talks with them about their tarot reading. Thanks for being a part of Team Teacup. And thank you additionally to everyone who submitted their entry, everybody who left those really fun, beautiful comments. I loved reading through them. And doing this competition tarot giveaway was so much fun for me. I definitely plan to do more in the future. So if you didn't win this one, definitely show up to the next one and submit your entry. Details on that to be determined sometime in the future. But thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my soul tribe. And I look forward to interacting with you guys more here on my channel on YouTube.